What's up, Fountain Inn? Welcome back to this episode of In a Minute.
Today's Thursday, May 15th. I'm your host, Anna.
And I'm your host, Christian. This is our 150th episode for the 2024 through 2025 school year.
This will be the 600th and final episode of In a Minute for the class of 2025.
Over the last 4 years, more than 50 graduating seniors have hosted the news. Hello, my name is Christian Edley. Welcome to the very first episode of In a Minute.
Hello and welcome back to In a Minute. I'm your host, Pat, and today is December 7th.
Today is Wednesday, April 20th, and I'm your host, Corbin.
Hello, and welcome to In a Minute. Today is October 1st, and I'm your host, Cameron.
Today is March 7th, and I'm your host, Emma.
What's up, Fury? Welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. Today is Wednesday, February the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm your host, Anna.
Hello, and welcome back to In a Minute. Today is Tuesday, December 13th, and I'm your host, Isaiah.
Today is Tuesday, August 22nd, and I'm your host, Amir.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of In a Minute.
Today is Thursday, November 10th, and I'm your host, Hayden.
Today is Friday, February 10th, and I'm your host, Christian. This is the 100th episode of In a Minute.
Today is Monday, October 10th, and I'm your host, Jakarius.
Today is Wednesday, September 7th, and I'm your host, Ashlyn.
Welcome to a special edition of In a Minute. I'm your host, Lyris. May the 4th be with you.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. Today is Thursday, October 5th, and I'm your host, Braylon.
Welcome back to our first episode of 2024. Today is Wednesday, January 10th, and I am your host, Brendan.
Hello, welcome back to In a Minute. Today is February 9th, and I'm your host, Maddie.
Hi, and welcome back to In a Minute. Today is Thursday, January 18th, and I'm your host, Kalia.
Today is Friday, August 27th. I'm your host, Isaiah.
Today is Wednesday, April 12th, and I'm your host, Lucas.
Today is Wednesday, January 26th. I'm your host, Ava.
Today is February 9th, and I'm your host, Savannah.
Welcome to this edition of In a Minute. Today is Thursday, February 17th, and I'm your host, Desaya.
Today is Wednesday, March 2nd. I'm your host, Carter.
Hi, my name is Grayson, and welcome to this episode of In a Minute.
Welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, and I'm your host, Trinity.
Today is March 8th, and I'm your host, Brianna.
Welcome to another edition of In a Minute. Today is Friday, February 4th, 2022, and I'm your host, Campbell.
Good morning, Fury. Today is March 4th, and I'm your host, Mackenzie.
I'm your host, JP, and today is Tuesday, August 30th.
Hello, and welcome back to In a Minute. Today is February 11th, and I'm your host, Crew.
What's up, Fury? Welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. I'm your host, Renato, and today is May 2nd.
Today is February 7th, and I'm your host, Alicia. Today is Tuesday, January 24th, and I'm your host, Katie.
Good morning, Fury. I'm your host, Cam, and today is Monday, January 29th, and this is my co-host,
Hayden Young.
Hello, and welcome to our first day of Spirit Week 2025. Today is Thursday, March 6th, and I'm your host, Maya.
Today is Friday, April 12th, and I'm your host, Stacia.
Today is March 16th, and I am your host, Chris.
Today is Tuesday, March 5th, and I'm your host, Jaden.
Welcome to In a Minute. Today is Wednesday, October 12th. I'm your host, Ivan.
Welcome back to another edition of In a Minute. Today is Wednesday, February 16th, and I'm your host, Hayden.
Today is November 22nd, and I'm your host, Noah.
Welcome back to another edition of In a Minute.
Today is Monday, January 9th, and I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Martasia.
Today is March 7th. I'm your host, Vinny.
Today's date is Tuesday, April 18th, and I'm your host, Jenny.
Today is Monday, January 23rd, and I'm your host, Ben. And this is the first newscast of the semester.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. Today is Wednesday, August 16th, and I'm your host, Layla.
Welcome back to In a Minute. Today is Thursday, September 9th. I'm your host, Will. We have our first home game on Fury Field tonight at 6 p.m.
I'm your host, Julian, and today is Friday, December 3rd. Hi, and welcome to Envision. I'm Carter, and happy August 30th.
What is up, Fountain Inn Furies? Welcome back to another episode of In a Minute. Today is the 21st of February, and I'm your host, Anna Barty. This is a Media Tech 1 takeover.
Today is April 6th, and I'm your host, Riley.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of In a Minute. Today is Friday, December 15th, and I'm your host, Danny.
Today is Friday, March 10th, and we're your hosts, Lyris
And Brianna.
Welcome back to another edition of In a Minute. Today is Friday, December 9th, and I'm your host, Alex.
Welcome to our 150th and final episode for the 2022-2023 school year of In a Minute. Today is Wednesday, March 31st, and I'm your host, Madeline.
Hello, and welcome to In a Minute. I'm Valerie, and today is September 14th.
Hi, and welcome to In a Minute. It's Wednesday, October 13th, and I'm your host, Chase.
Welcome to a spooky edition of In a Minute.
Today is October 31st, and I'm your host, Count Mathula.
Today's date is Friday, January 6th, and I'm your host, Emily.
Thanks for watching our Star Wars Day special. In a minute, we'll take a short break so we can focus on exams and final projects. Check out our socials for updates. May the Force be with you.
Seniors, reminder that tomorrow is Senior Day, where we will go through graduation walkthrough.
Tickets will be passed out, as well as extra tickets being sold for those who need them.
In addition, yearbooks will be distributed.
Thank you everybody for tuning in these last 4 years. Congratulations to the class of 2025.
Underclassmen, finish strong. We hope everybody has a great summer. In a minute, we'll return in August, but unfortunately, we won't. Bye, Fury!